Welcome to the podcast. Today we're diving deep into the life and legacy of a remarkable figure, Albertus Van Raalte, the Dutch preacher who built Holland, Michigan.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
story full of passion, theology, and some serious pioneering spirit.
Wow, that's a rich tapestry to unravel. What really stands out to you about his early life?
Well, Van Raalte was born in 1811 in the Netherlands, a time when the country was, caught between strict Reformed orthodoxy and the modern ideas coming from the Enlightenment. And he studied at the University of Leiden, one of Europe's top schools. It was a battleground of ideas, and he chose to align with the secession movement, rejecting the state's diluted version of Christianity.
So basically, he was kind of a rebel with a cause in his own theological way, right?
Exactly. His education at Leiden wasn't just about book learning. It instilled in him a conviction that state-imposed religious conformity was dangerous.
Right.
His commitment to strict Calvinism and the authority of Scripture really set the tone for his later life.
That sounds like it would set you on quite a challenging path, especially if your church authorities aren't on board.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what happened. After being ordained in 1836 in Arnhem, he faced severe harassment and fines by the state church, which viewed his secession stance as nothing short of rebellion. It's like he was saying, faith should not be dictated by the crown or by liberal theologians,
Indeed.
which really planted the seed for his eventual migration to America.
I love that idea. The notion that religious freedom is almost worth the ultimate sacrifice, like leaving behind everything familiar.
Yes, exactly. In 1846, Van Raalte led nearly 100 of his followers across the treacherous Atlantic to the wilderness of western Michigan in 1847.
Right,
They
that's
created
incredibly
what we
brave.
now know as Holland, Michigan, as an experiment in establishing a community where Orthodox Reformed faith could truly flourish.
And I imagine that the journey itself must have been as brutal as it was hopeful.
Oh, totally. They faced a brutal Atlantic crossing and then the harsh realities of frontier life, disease, brutal winters, and the constant battle for survival. It really underlines that their struggle was not just physical but also very ideological, fighting for a community built on strict theological principles.
Yep, makes you appreciate the grit needed for that time. Now, I've heard that his theological decisions even sparked a big controversy once they established the settlement. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure thing. After establishing the colony, Van Raalte decided to unite his community with the Reformed Church in America in 1850.
Right.
While, on one hand, it was about engaging with the broader American society, on the other, it wasn't a move without consequences. Some members felt that the RCA was too, Americanized and loose on doctrine.
That's a fascinating dilemma, balancing tradition with the demands of a new environment. I mean, isn't it like mixing oil and water sometimes?
Exactly. It was like mixing two very distinct flavors. His decision about joining the RCA led to a deep schism. By 1857, many of his followers broke away. They formed what would eventually become the Christian Reformed Church, a split that, interestingly, still shapes the religious landscape of West Michigan
Yes,
today.
that split is still evident in the region's identity. But here's the thing. Some critics argue that Van Raalte, by making such a compromise, ended up diluting core principles rather than strengthening his community. What's your take on that?
I get that point, but it's important to note that while his critics saw him as a compromiser, his defenders viewed him as a pragmatist. He was, after all, dealing with life and death in a wilderness setting. It was like a balancing act between strict theological purity and survival in a harsh new world.
That makes sense. It's like he was walking a tightrope. A delicate negotiation between unwavering doctrinal integrity and, practical politics, isn't it?
Exactly. And speaking of politics, one aspect that's really striking is his involvement in education and political engagement. Van Raalte, for instance, went on to found Hope College in 1866 and even supported Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
His belief that Christian education and political action were integral to his community's future certainly set a long-lasting precedent.
Wow. He wasn't just a preacher. He was also sort of a community architect, right? Building churches, schools, and even influencing local politics.
Exactly. His vision of a covenant community wasn't limited to strictly spiritual matters. It extended into everyday life. His approach helped shape the cultural and political conservatism in West Michigan that we still see today, from church pews to city halls.
That kind of impact really echoes through history. And I imagine that his personal struggles, like the loss of loved ones and the internal conflicts among his own people, must have added even more complexity to his legacy.
Absolutely. His story wasn't just triumph and visionary leadership. He endured personal tragedies, including the heartbreaking loss of children, and faced criticism from within his own community. Yet, despite these trials, his foundational ideas endured.
Right. It's like his legacy is both a beacon and a cautionary tale. It really is a tale of vision versus controversy, passion against compromise. Reminds me of many historical figures who had to make tough calls in trying times.
Exactly. And, to me, the most striking part is how his theological convictions, emphasizing the sovereignty of God, the authority of Scripture, and the need for confessional purity, still reverberate today. His ideas helped form two enduring denominations in America.
Yeah, that's really something. What's interesting is how these theological roots have influenced not only religious institutions, but even the political identity and cultural norms of an entire region. It's almost as if his vision laid down a blueprint for community life that transcends the church.
Right. It's like his theology was the DNA of the region's identity. The blend of Calvinist orthodoxy with the American dream of freedom created a community that's both steadfast in tradition and engaged in modernity.
I can see that clearly. And let's also appreciate the resilience these settlers had. I mean, battling disease, harsh winters, and then the internal rifts over church order. It's like, they were really forging their destiny in every sense.
Absolutely. Their story is filled with, determination and grit. It's like they had to build their entire society from scratch while upholding deep religious convictions. It really gives you an idea of how intertwined faith and survival were for them.
It's a level of commitment that's hard to imagine today. Now, when you look at modern Holland, Michigan, with tulip time celebrations, churches, and educational institutions, it's fascinating how the echoes of Van Raalte still resonate in everyday life.
Yes, indeed. His vision, despite its controversies and the divisions it created, has become an integral part of the region's heritage. His emphasis on a community founded on biblical principles and the importance of education left a legacy that continues to influence West Michigan's culture, politics, and even identity.
Absolutely remarkable. It's almost poetic how his life, fraught with both triumphs and harsh realities, mirrors the complexities of building a nation, not just a physical town, but a whole way of life.
For sure. And while some might critique him for, as you mentioned earlier, compromising too much for survival's sake, others see him as a visionary who navigated a near-impossible landscape. It's a debate that still stirs conversations among scholars and church members to this day.
Yeah, that debate adds layers to his legacy. I guess it all comes down to perspective. Was he a necessary compromiser, or did he betray the uncompromising nature of his theology? That kind of question is timeless and still relevant when we look at modern leadership challenges.
Exactly. And this discussion isn't just about the past. It's a reminder of how theology, politics, and community life are all interwoven. It shows us how foundational ideas can ripple through centuries, shaping societies in unexpected ways.
And that's what makes historical figures like him so endlessly fascinating. Truly fascinating. I mean, you have this man who, despite personal losses and harsh circumstances, managed to leave an enduring imprint on both his community and, more broadly, American culture.
Right. His story reminds us that the true legacy of a leader lies not only in their achievements but also in the lasting questions and debates they ignite, in matters of faith, identity, and governance. And, that's something that continues to influence our cultural conversations even
Absolutely,
today.
yeah. So, when we think about Holland, Michigan, and its vibrant mix of tradition and modernity, we're really seeing the echoes of Van Raalte's vision. A vision that bridged Old World theology with the promise and challenges of the New World.
Exactly. And it's a powerful lesson in how ideas, once set in motion, can shape societies long after their originators are gone. His story, with all its drama, conflict, and spirit of perseverance, remains a beacon for understanding how deeply intertwined faith and cultural identity can be.
Very well said. What a journey through time and thought. Thanks for unpacking such a rich narrative today.
It's been a pleasure. Let's keep these conversations alive. After all, history isn't just in the past, it's in the way we live and think today.
Indeed, absolutely.